As we get closer to the new year, it's looking more likely that the medical device excise tax will be repealed. This would have a significant impact on the many medical device businesses in the northwest suburbs. Eric Nelson joins us now with more. Eric?
Yeah, hi, Delane. Minnesota is a med tech mecca with 1,000 companies located in the state. Many of them are based right here in the northwest suburbs. The U.S. House has already passed a bill eliminating the tax, and the U.S. Senate could be next. After that, a presidential signature would make things official.
I think we're just in the mechanics part now. So we are optimistic. In fact, presuming at this point that we will finally put this tax behind us and that our community in particular can really start to make the investments that have been inhibited by the tax.
Now, the medical device excise tax became law in 2013. The tax has been put on hold twice, buying companies some time. But industry officials say things need to get done as soon as possible, or the tax kicks in again in 2020. Golden Valley-based Medical Alley Association says Minnesota has the most densely concentrated medical technology cluster in the world. They say the tax affected 30 to 35% of the state's medical economy. Medical Alley says a total repeal would mean increased jobs and more investments in research and development.
This every 2-year cycle has required people to wait and see if they're going to need to cut jobs or R&D. And so from a business, predictability perspective, we know we'll see increased jobs, more R&D investments, perhaps even capital investments by medical technology companies here in Minnesota.
The medical device tax is 2.3% of sales. It was originally put in place during the Obama administration to help fund the Affordable Care Act. But Medical Alley says it forced some startup medtech companies to go out of business. There are 450,000 people in Minnesota who work in the medtech profession. Delane?
All right, thank you, Eric. A prominent corner of Robbinsdale is getting a makeover. The former Kenton Garden restaurant on West Broadway is undergoing a transformation and will soon become the Birdhouse restaurant. The building needs an emergency exit and will get windows to provide natural lighting, which will impact the outside mural. The restaurant owner is working with a mural artist to accommodate the changes. The restaurant, meanwhile, plans to open this spring. A Hennepin tech program to help students qualify for jobs in the auto industry is highlighting a big indicator of its success. Here is Shannon Sladden.
Right now we're going over transmissions.
Elliot Ramos is kind of an unusual student for a local technical college.
I'm just all-around tech in the shop.
He's already got a job in his chosen field.
I've been working there for about 2 years now.
At a Ford dealership, but it's not a local one. Elliot works at Vern ID Ford, 300 miles away in Mitchell, South Dakota. After he graduates, he'll keep working there with an upward career path.
They actually will pay for my schooling, and they chose me and a friend of mine.
We're pulling students in from a big area, which is really cool for a school like this.
That's because the Ford Asset Program at Hennepin Tech is laser focused on turning out technicians ready to work in Ford service departments.
You get your Associate's Applied Science degree. We cover every single topic through Ford training curriculum, so when you're done, you're 100% Ford STSD certified.
The factory-backed program provides tools, manuals, and even cars for the students to work on.
We're training on the latest technology, the latest equipment, and everything that the students are going to find at the dealership, that the dealership's using for diagnostic equipment, we have here.
When they're not in class, students work at dealerships, applying what they've learned.
They get the basis or the classroom and the lab work here, and then at the dealership they get the hands-on so they can put to work the things that we studied in school.
Brian Freedy knows firsthand how effective the program can be. He's not just an instructor, he's also a graduate. And he says the results speak for themselves.
Our placement rate, we're 100%.
That makes them the top Ford Asset Program in the country, which is no surprise to Elliot Ramos.
I'm going back to a job that I might even be able to go higher and higher in position.
The Asset Program takes 2 years to complete. Armstrong band members call it unbelievable. When the band director applied to play in the Outback Bowl over a year ago, they had no idea they would be there with the Minnesota Golden Gopher football team.
So we've been planning this for 16 months, hoping that the Gophers would be good enough to get to that New Year's Day Outback Bowl, and they did it. So we are so honored and proud to be able to represent Armstrong down at the Outback Bowl. So excited that the Gophers are going to be there.
Band director Todd Burkholder takes the Armstrong Band to perform at the Outback Bowl and Disney World every 4 years. He calls this year's performance the icing on the cake because he will be retiring afterwards. Burkholder has been at Armstrong for 35 years. 125 members of the band have been practicing and preparing, as well as planning for what else they'll be doing in Florida.
If it's warm enough, we're going to swim. If it's not warm enough, we are still going to swim because we are from Minnesota.
Amen to that. Band boosters will be driving down uniforms and equipment ahead of the band, who fly out on the 27th. We'll leave you now with some of the show, which include a classic rock medley and an armed forces medley. Enjoy.
The Wayzata Wrestling team is set for a strong season. The Trojans are ranked 8th and have 3 big tournaments coming up. With some star power among the veterans and good young talent, this could be a very good year for Wayzata Wrestling.
The team's looking pretty good overall. We're having some young guys with some success. They've been in the varsity, some new guys who've never wrestled varsity before, getting good quality wins already. But team as a whole is looking good. We're working really hard.
This year we're much more, I think, conditioned. We have really good technique. We're kind of scrappy. We're a pretty scrappy team. We wrestle really hard in practice here, so I think we're a lot tougher compared to previous years.
It's an exciting but daunting next 3 weekends for the Trojans. This Friday and Saturday, it's the Minnesota Christmas Tournament in Rochester. Next weekend, the Rumble on the Red in Fargo. Then back to Rochester for the Clash National Duels the following weekend.
The schedule is set up that the next 3 weeks, probably nobody's undefeated after this next 3 weeks. If anybody on our team is undefeated, you know we've got a real contender for the state title. So we're looking for losses. We're looking for the hardest matches possible, middle of the season. Why not?
Team-wise, ultimately it will come down to can Wayzata match up with perennial power St. Michael Albertville in Section 5-3A.
It's one of our highest goals as a team is to knock them off, and it's going to be a fun duel. They have a lot of really good guys, a great culture over there, and that's what we're trying to build over here and try and make it a much more competitive duel.
They'll take some lumps the next 3 weekends, but it'll make Wayzata better in the long run. We also have some great girls basketball in the area this winter with 4 local squads ranked in the top 10 in Class 4A. 2 of them met this week as 4th-ranked Park Center hosted 2nd-ranked Wayzata. Park Center junior Adalia McKenzie averaging 31 a game coming in. Mara Braun with a nice pass to Jenna Johnson for a Trojan soup in the first half. McKenzie on the move, and she dashes in and scores here for the Pirates. And Kayla Cox kicks it out to Lauren Frost for the 3-pointer. Park Center is up 31-30 at halftime. Wayzata starts the second half strong though. Nice passing, and Johnson finishes strong underneath. Tanae Griffin runs the break for Park Center and threads the pass to McKenzie for the basket. It's 40-36 Pirates. Wayzata goes on a run though. Annika Stewart's jump shot puts her team up 51-47. But then the Pirates rally. Frost nails another big 3-pointer to put Park Center up by 1. The Pirates go on to win 71-62, handing Wayzata its first loss of the season. Despite 2 early season losses, the Hopkins boys basketball team was up to the challenge of taking on one of the state's best earlier this week. Minnehaha Academy, the top-ranked team in Class 3A, came to the Lindbergh Center. but the Redhawks were without junior center Chet Holmgren out with an injury. But Jalen Suggs does play for Minnehaha, one of the nation's top players. His three-pointer puts Minnehaha up by 6 in the first half. Jalen Tremmel with a steal here for the Royals. He goes in for a dunk and provides a much-needed spark off the bench, scoring 16. And watch the dunk by Hopkins' Andre Gray as he explodes to the hoop and hammers it down. Hopkins is up by 1. Minnehaha, though, leads by 2 points at halftime. Early in the second half, Suggs drains the pull-up 3. The Redhawks are up 54-46. They lead by as many as 10. But after a quiet first half, Hopkins' Kerwin Walton starts filling it up in the second. This 3 gives the Royals the lead by 1. Watch this one. Walton behind the back, and he finishes with the dunk. He scores 27 of his 29 after halftime. Suggs adds a highlight reel-worthy dunk of his own as he'll drive it on the baseline. He scores 41 in the game, and the teams go to overtime. Suggs fouls out in OT, though, and Hopkins cashes in at the free throw line. The Royals go on to beat Minnehaha Academy 92-85.